guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Kautar. If this is your very first time here, and you are absolutely welcome. On my channel I share a lot of helpful crochet tutorials, either stitches, patterns, and also other tips and tricks for crochet. I've also recently started sharing a little bit about my personal life, what it's like to live in Lagos, etc. So on my channel you're definitely going to be having fun and also learning new things about crochet. Before we go for that, please take a moment to subscribe right now. Just click that red button below. I am trying really hard to hit 1,000 subscribers. I wanted to hit 1,000 subscribers before the end of January, but as we all know, it is February now, so just hit subscribe button and help me hit that goal. Today I'm actually answering some of your questions. Today on Instagram I asked my followers to ask me crochet related questions, so I'm going to be answering those questions in today's video. If you'd like for me to answer your question in a Q&A that I'll be doing later in the future, you can just follow me on Instagram. My Instagram handle is @CooktonKautar, and keep up with my stories so that when next I'm doing a Q&A and I ask people to send me their questions, your question is going to be part of it. All that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to share it with your other crochet friends, because I'm very sure that they are going to learn something from it the same way you are also going to learn something from it. So I'm just going to get into it right now. I'm going to be reading the questions out from my phone in case you see me looking down. So I'll be reading the questions out from my phone and answering them. The first question I'm reading here is, how do you deal with getting the measurements of your clients? Do you do the usual SML, XL, etc., or do you ask clients for real measurements of different parts/section? So I'm just going to answer this briefly. That is because I have a course on sizing and measurements of crochet pieces where I go really in depth as to how you can get the perfect size when crocheting garments for your customers. But basically I work with all types of measurements. I'll ask you for your measurements if you have it. If you say you don't know your measurements, I'm going to say, okay, what size do you wear, and basically work with that. So that is what I do. But if you want to know more about this, you can take that course. It's just 5,000 naira, which is like about $10. Just send me a message on Instagram if you'd like to take the course. But because some people have already paid me for that information, I cannot share all the details for free, because that will be cheating the people that already paid. Next question. I live in Lagos, Nigeria, for new people who are just watching, and somebody asked me, there are these crochet hooks that they sell at the local markets. The thing is that these hooks, they are aluminum and they are not the standard hooks. I don't know where they are made, but they don't have sizes in that's in millimeters. They just have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 written on them. Now because they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, some other crocheters in Nigeria think that that hook, when they see that hook with number 3, they think it's the same thing as 3 mm, or they think that they just omitted the mm on the hooks. I don't know if you guys understand what I'm trying to say, but I'm trying to say that if you buy those hooks, sometimes they have T.Rose on it. I don't know if T.Rose is the name of the brand, but sometimes they have T.Rose on one side, and then on the other side you see the number. The number usually ranges from 1 to 6. One of that hook is not the same thing as 1 mm. 6 on that hook is not the same thing as 6 mm. So somebody was asking me why they need to get the standard hooks, as the hooks that have the standard sizes, instead of using that one. So the first thing is that those hooks are very thin. Whatever you make with them is going to take you a long time to finish, because the hooks are thin. It's going to make your project work up really slowly, and then you cannot use the hook with chunky yarn. You can't use it to make a very thick project where you need a yarn that is very thick, because the hook is really thin. That is the first reason why you need to get bigger hooks. Now the second reason is because those hooks don't have a standard size, so there's no real way you can compare that with, like, if somebody gives you a recommendation or somebody gives you a pattern and they're like, use 3 mm, you cannot compare their 3 mm to that hook's 3, because the hook does not have a standard size. That's basically the reason. So if you want to be working with other people's patterns generally, you need to get the standard hooks, so that when they say 3 mm, you know that the 3 mm you have is actually 3 mm. I hope you understand that. So those are the 2 reasons. Next question. How do you determine the number of yarn balls to use for a project? Now I talked about this in my pricing video. If you've not seen the pricing your crochet pieces video, I'm going to link it down in the description box below. Just watch that video to know how to properly price your crochet pieces. But going to this question, how do you determine the number of balls of yarn to use for a project? What you do is take one ball of the yarn you plan to use, and make a swatch with that one ball of yarn. So if you want to use one ball of yay yarn, you're going to make a swatch using that ball of yarn, using the hook size you plan to use for the project, and the stitch. So if you want to use maybe double crochets, 2 strands, and a 5mm hook, you're going to make a swatch with one ball of yay using the 5mm hook and making the double crochet stitches. Now if you are able to do 20 stitches with one ball of yay yarn, that is just an example. If you're able to do 20 stitches with one ball of yay yarn and you know that your project is going to take up 200 stitches, you're just going to then divide it. If one ball of yarn gives you 20 stitches, it means that to make 200 stitches you need approximately 10 balls of yarn. But once you are able to do this estimate, make sure you buy extra balls of yarn, because it is always better to have more balls of yarn than to not have enough. So that's a way to do an estimate. And then when I shared this in my pricing video, I got some questions like, how do I know the number of stitches I'm going to be doing for the whole project? And I really explained this in depth in my course, Creating Original Crochet Pieces. So if you have this question or you'd like to know more about this, you can just send me a DM on Instagram and then register for that course. But on to the next question. This person says, hello, considering making a crop jacket with buttons, I tried sketching and picking a stitch, but I'm lost. I don't know how or which will favor my decrease or how to go about it. Now, I'm not sure I fully understand their question, but maybe they are trying to say that they don't know which stitch to make because they're going to be decreasing and all that. But the thing is, when you are choosing a stitch, those are the things you take into consideration depending on your skill level. If you know that you are not so advanced, like you are not so proficient at crochet, and you pick a really complicated stitch and then you need to decrease, you are going to be stuck. So your skill level is one of the determining factors when choosing a stitch for your project. You choose a stitch that you know that, okay, I'm going to be able to manipulate this stitch easily. Again, I'm going to be referring you back to my course, because in my course I hold your hand through it all. If you would like to know how to decrease or increase when working with decorative or complicated stitches, you are going to be able to do that after you take my course, because I'm going to be showing you, explaining to you in detail how you can do that. So if you're interested, send me a DM on Instagram. This person says, how long does it take to learn crocheting before I become proficient? So the thing is, there is no fixed time. Even though I have been crocheting for over 15 years now, I feel like whatever you do constantly, you get better at it. With practice comes progress. So if you're crocheting every day, of course the more you do it, the better you get. So I don't think you need a very long time to learn. As long as you're doing it, what you just need to do is to constantly take in information and practice to get better. So if you learn something new, make sure you're practicing it and applying it so that you can really master it and get better. But I don't think there's a fixed time. You can learn it in a week, you can learn it in 3 days. Depends on how fast you learn and how much attention you are paying to it. Next question. What are the best types of hooks? The purely aluminum ones or the ones with plastic handles? That is just preference. The type of hooks you use is just based on your preference, whatever you prefer. But I'll say try it all out and then you can know which one feels better for you. Okay, this person says, saw a YouTube video where the YouTuber used a 4mm hook, but I have a 4.5. Will it come out right? Of course, the size of hook you use doesn't mean your work will not come out nice. What you need to do is maybe just try to match the person's gauge. You'll just work with your own measurements. Whatever instructions you are following, since the hook, in fact, even if the hook you are using is the same size the person is using, if both of you are not using the same yarn, and both of you, your tension can never be the same. So it's just always good that when you're following other people's pattern, just measure your work as you go along to make sure that you are still on the right track. Next question is, how do you maintain crochet pieces so that they last long? Excuse me. So the number one thing that I feel like people don't get right is that crochet pieces are not meant to be washed the way you wash vegetables when you are trying to get the juice out of it. To wash crochet pieces, just put them in water and squish gently, just squish gently, because the crochet piece, once you put it in water, the dirt comes out into the water. So once you squish gently, also don't wring like this when you want to get out excess water. Also just squish to get out excess water, and then you lay flat to dry. Once it is dry, just fold it neatly. If you can put it in a fabric bag, and that is because once anything pulls on it, maybe the zip of another cloth or button from another cloth, it can it can pull out the yarn from the work. So just keep it safely, and I think that's the best way to maintain the crochet piece. Also, I found out that when you're wearing crochet pieces, some other types of accessories don't really go well with them. So if you are wearing a crochet dress and you are carrying a bag that has stones, those stones can pull on the yarn. So that's another thing you want to take into consideration. Next question. What yarn do you prefer using, Yeye or Baby Lamb? Which one do you use the most? So for my viewers that are not in Nigeria, Yeye and Baby Lamb are the two acrylic yarn brands in Nigeria here. So this person is asking which of the two I prefer to use. The truth is that I use the two. I use the two, and one thing that determines which one I use sometimes is the color shades. So even though the two brands have the same colors, the color shades are slightly different. So even though both of them have nude color, for example, the nude in one brand is a little bit lighter than the nude in another brand. So if I need a darker shade of nude, I go for the brand that has the darker shade, and if I need a lighter shade of nude, I go with the brand that has the lighter shade. I go with the brand that has the shades that I want to use. So I was asked to choose just one brand. I'm going to actually choose Baby Lamb. I prefer Baby Lamb. Next question. Is Yeye Extra good for making tops, or is there any other yarn you can recommend? Again, Yeye is an acrylic yarn brand in Nigeria, and Yeye Extra is like a bigger version of their regular yarn. Yes, Yeye Extra is good for making tops if you want to make the top with an acrylic yarn, because Yeye Extra is an acrylic yarn. So if you're looking at using an acrylic yarn, Yeye Extra is a very good option. But yes, there are other yarns that can be used for making tops. You can use cotton yarn, you can use silk, you can use bamboo, like you can use different types of yarns to make tops. So okay, so somebody says, how do you deal with yarn stretch? Sometimes the gauge doesn't help with that. Yes, yarn stretches, but you want to take into consideration your tension. If your tension is the same all through, I don't think that it is going to stretch. That is if you are working. Now, one thing I did not understand about this question is whether they mean, like, is it that yarn stretch when you are working, or yarn stretch afterwards when you are done? If it is yarn stretch when you are working, you want to just take note of your tension. If your tension is changing, then the yarn will stretch. It will seem like the yarn is stretching because the work will get bigger. If your tension when it started was tight and your tension becomes loose, that part will like be bigger than the part where the tension was tight. But if it is like yarn stretch after you have finished the piece, maybe when you've washed it, yarn will stretch if you wash and then you hang to dry, because when you hang to dry, you know, the water like settles at the bottom of the piece and that like makes it drop down. So that's something that can happen. Okay, next question. I find it hard to come up with my own designs. Could you help, please? Okay, first you need to of course get inspiration for whatever you want to do. You can get inspirations on Pinterest, Instagram, Google. And for crochet pieces, you don't necessarily, like, you can get inspired from other pieces that are not crochet. I sometimes get inspired from other regular pieces, like normal clothing item, and I get inspiration like, oh, I like how this clothes fits. I like how this cloth fits, and I want to replicate this in crochet, and then I just like get to it. So that's how you can do it. Once you like see something, you just get inspired and like, oh, but I would like mine to have, let's say you see skirts and you like it, be like, oh, I like this skirt, I think I should make it, but I would like mine to be short. I would like mine to have sleeves. Like, those are ways you can put your own tweak on designs you are inspired by. Another question, she says, not a crochet related question, but what do you use to take your pictures? The quality is great. I actually use my phone. I use my phone. My phone is an iPhone 8 Plus, and that is what I use to take my pictures. Somebody else says, do you sketch just the crochet pieces you created, or you sketch for every crochet project? I sketch for every crochet project because the sketch allows you to know what you are doing. The sketch will let you know if you are making a mistake before you finish the work. The sketch basically just gives you a direction in which to work. So I sketch for everything I'm making. Next question. This person says, how did you learn crocheting? I've said this story so many times. I have a video about it on my Instagram even. I learned when I was in secondary school. There was this lady in my class that used to crochet. So you know, when you're done with your exams, but you're still going to school, that period when you're just in school playing, she would come with her crochet project and then she'll be doing it in class. She used to make bags back then. Or it was bags she used to crochet the most. So I'll just be looking at her, I'll be like, I really like this thing. Oh, can you teach me what it is you're doing? And then she was like, no, I don't know how to explain to you, but if you can just look at me, I'm sure you eventually figure it out. So that was how I learned when I was in GS3, which was like over 15 years ago. Okay, this person says, please, how can you limit your time to crochet so many stuff? Because I can't. Okay, let me just say, crochet is my full-time job, although now I'm like going into YouTube and other things, but crochet used to be like the only thing I do 2/7. Now I also have a baby, I'm a wife now, a mom, so I have so many other activities besides crochet. But crochet is my work, so once I'm done with house chores and every other thing, I crochet. Now that I have other aspects of my business, like the admin aspect, I also sell crochet supplies. I've added more people to my team, so I have more people working with me now. But basically, because crochet is all I do, I mean, I just have to, and then people pay me to make stuff for them. Am I going to take somebody's money and not make their piece? So I do all it takes to get the piece ready after I've been paid. Somebody says, my own question is that, can I upload phone videos on YouTube? Of course you can. My birth story was filmed and posted on YouTube via my phone, and I mean, that's the best video on my channel so far. It got so many views in like 24 hours. If you've not seen that video, you should go watch it. You're going to laugh and have a good time. I'm going to link it in the description box below. Somebody's asking, how long did it take you to crochet that oversized sweater on your YouTube page? So the thing is, it took a long time because I was filming. So if I made progress, I'd have to pause, set up the camera, film. If I made progress and couldn't film immediately, I had to pause until I could film. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. So I think it took me about a week or two. But if that was a project that I wasn't filming and I needed to deliver, something I can do in like 2 days. If I was crocheting the whole day and I was doing nothing else, I can do it in like a day. But I'm going to have to start very early and finish very, very late. But to be on the safe side, I'll just say 2 days if I give it like attention and I'm not working other projects. Somebody says, where is a good and reliable source to buy yarn in Nigeria? Buy from me. I'm in Nigeria. I sell yarns, different types. Message me on Instagram if you want to order or see if you write it. Somebody says, can you teach me crochet? Of course I can. Just message me on Instagram if you'd like to learn how to crochet. Do you feel pains in your hands after crocheting? No, I don't. But if I crochet for a very long time, not taking any breaks, I feel pain on my shoulder. Shoulder is where I feel pains when crocheting for a very long time without taking breaks. How do you properly know a customer's sizing? Again, I've answered that question. I ask them, and I basically ask them and work with whatever they give me. But if you want to know more about sizing and creating crochet pieces that fits perfectly, you should take my sizing course. Send me a message on Instagram. Okay, this person says, I don't have any questions. Just want to say you've shown great things can be done with crochet, and they're clapping for me. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Somebody says this, how long does it take you to make a throw like this, and how many balls of yarn do you use? So the number of balls of yarn used for a project is dependent on a lot of things. What is the size? How many strands are you using at a go? What is the hook size you are using? A lot of things. So I can use anywhere from like 1 pack of yeye or baby lamb to 2 or 3 packs. Again, depending on how thick the throw is and the size of the throw. And then how long does it take me? Guys, so my camera actually died, and I'm having to film this outro on my phone. I can't see the questions anymore, so I'm just going to stop here for today. I'm going to be sure to film more Q&As if you guys ask me more questions. So don't forget to follow me on Instagram and keep up with my stories if you have any crochet related questions you'd like to ask me, and I'm just going to feature them in an upcoming Q&A depending on the number of questions I get from you. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel by clicking the red subscribe button down below, and share this video with your other crochet friends. They are definitely going to find it helpful, and I'm just going to see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Bye.